The markets are open.
People always ask, well, why should I bet on Monday? Because you have the perfect number in front of you.
And the numbers are moving.
We've seen this total go from 47 to 49, 49 and a half.
Now you're getting a field goal in a game that was sit and pick 'em for so long.
Let's dive into some Monday morning market moves on BetQL Daily, presented by BetMGM.
Certainly have had some movement here. Let's start with Georgia, who's plus 3.5 at Texas with a total of 56.5 there, Sammy P.
Yeah, the look ahead here was about 1.5, 2, going into, a couple weeks ago. And now we're sitting through the 3. Clearly some support for Texas. And, the books are weary of how people are going to bet. Obviously, they have an understanding of how people will bet. Texas looked awesome against Oklahoma, mostly on the defensive side of the ball. And that's an Oklahoman offense that I don't know is any good. Clearly some injuries at receiver, some issues on the offensive line, and a freshman quarterback. So I don't know how much stock we put into that, but they couldn't move the ball. And, as good as Texas is on offense and the hype around Ewers, and obviously Arch Manning is a celebrity on the sideline and all the weapons on offense, their defense, might be the best side of the ball. So that is not a surprise to see that go through the 3. Total open 55, already moving to the over. So a 56.5 at BetMGM. That's the early look on the total. Up on the total and moving toward Texas. I mean, I have Texas as the highest power rated team in the country, all around the horn. Offense, defense, special teams. I think they are the best team in the country. And clearly at home, they're favored against anybody in the country. And Georgia has a really high power rating. Don't get it twisted. Georgia's a very good football team. Very, very good. But no surprise here. Texas about a 3.5 point favorite.
Yeah, you mentioned that Texas defense through 6 games right now. They've given up a total of 3 touchdowns, and they have not allowed 300 yards of total offense to any team that they're playing right now. So you want to talk about all that hype around those quarterbacks, and rightfully so, but Quinn Ewers missed some time, comes back, looked a little bit up and down, obviously, in that, but the defense did everything for him. When you hold Oklahoma to 236 total yards, 3 total points, I mean, the defense for Texas may be their bigger asset this year as that continues, especially if Ewers maybe takes a couple of weeks to kind of get back into that flow that we had, before he got hurt. But we know this is obviously still going to be his team. All right, Bama's a 2.5 point favorite at Tennessee. That total is at 55.5. We know one thing with Alabama, they're going to make things difficult, and you're going to be sweating until the very end when it comes down to close game after close game after close game with Bama.
Yeah, even with Kalen DeBoer as head coach, they're going to bet Bama. And I was not surprised to see this. I have a couple side bets on who will be favored, Bama or Tennessee. Some people thought Tennessee would be a favorite. I thought no shot. You should never say no shot in this industry. But, Bama opens 1 in Vegas, immediately out to 2, 2.5. And it did touch 3. It actually hit Bama -3. And then obviously people come in and they take a good number. They believe Tennessee +3 is a good bet. So the game is in Knoxville. So you're going to see support for Tennessee catching a full 3. But I mean, we're talking within 3 minutes, bang, 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 from 1.5 to 2, 2.5 to 3. And it got ransacked, right away, right out to 3. And that was obviously not little old ladies with blue hair making that bet, to go from 1 to 1.5 to 2 to 2.5 to 3. But then they took 3. So you'll see some fight around the 3. Obviously, people are going to bet +3 with a good team at home, but no surprise they came in early on a Sunday and bet Alabama from 1.5 to 3.
And Tennessee needed overtime to beat the 3-2 Gators this past weekend. And we know at this point, when you look at Alabama, because I certainly feel this way, and I know anybody that's an Alabama fan, I do a show with obviously PJ Glasser, who is just loves Alabama having gone there. It just feels like this is what we're going to get every single week. A lot of thrillers, a lot of because I mean, even against Georgia, right? It's like Georgia, they go out to this huge lead and it's like, oh, here comes Bama. They're picking up right where they left off with Nick Saban. And then Georgia comes storming back and almost wins that game. I feel like every single week we just have to go in almost assuming, unless it's, some tiny little opponent that's getting paid to get their ass beat, they're like, Alabama is going to be in a close game.
Yeah, no, they really are. I think defensively, some of their issues, and they've lost some guys, in the secondary. Caleb Downs is now a star safety at Ohio State. So when Saban leaves, you're going to lose schematics and you're going to lose talent. And they've obviously had to go through some stuff, but look, they've survived and advanced, at least to this point in the season. Obviously, lose to Vanderbilt, but survived against South Carolina. Still a really good football team. I've got them 4th in the country right now in terms of power rating. So they are right there. And look, that's an SEC team that nobody wants to see in the playoff. I don't care if you're down on Bama. You want to face Bama in the college football playoff? Don't kid yourself. Nobody wants to face Alabama.
Yeah, and it's not going to be an easy stretch for them coming up because you got Tennessee. You're going to be at home against Missouri. You're going to have LSU after that. So it's going to be a really, really tough stretch. We're going to know what this Alabama team is certainly over the next few weeks. Colorado's a 3.5-point dog at Arizona. Totals 55.5 there. Big thing to just kind of keep in mind with this game is Travis Hunter dealing with that shoulder injury, what his status is going to be. I mean, I don't think anybody's going out on a limb saying this kid's incredibly important to Colorado considering he plays both sides of the football on like every snap, which it's like exhausting to think about how much he actually plays every single game.
No doubt, man. He's a stud and a half, and his loss will be obviously affected on both sides of the ball. I'm trying to remember the number in the summer here. I'm going to pull up the preseason numbers. I believe Arizona was like a 9-point favorite. Here we go. I got the Big 12 pulled up right now. Arizona, Colorado. Yeah, it was actually 10. Number was 10 and a half. Call it 10 and a half on October 19th. So clearly a correction in the market from 10 and a half to 3.5. The adjustment is real on Colorado, clearly much better than people thought. And I think it's interesting because Colorado was a team that not a lot of people were high on. And when you have a win total of 4.5, 5, it's not really that ballsy to say that they weren't supposed to be that good, but they have just exceeded expectations because of their talent. I mean, they win as a 14-point dog against UCF a couple of weeks ago. A lot of people weren't thinking that was possible. So here we are, on October 14th, Colorado has already moved 7 points from where the number was to where the number is. Let's see. What did they open it in Vegas? I'm guessing they opened 3, got bet to 5 right away. So a big bet on Arizona, which may have been a dummy. Because right away, after it went to 5, they came back and they took the points with Colorado. There may have been some shimmy shake, if you know what I mean. Let's bet this up to bet it down. And now we're sitting 3.5 basically everywhere.
We know one thing, the public loves Colorado, and Deion's made that happen, But at least now they're looking more like a respectable football team as opposed to just, hey, they're rebuilding and there's a lot of hype around it. You're actually starting. I mean, especially with that win over Baylor to start the season, you're looking going, okay, maybe Colorado's at least starting to make some strides. But yeah, Travis Hunter is going to be everything for them. If he's out there and he's healthy, that's the difference maker on both sides of the football for them. So that's something to obviously just, keep in mind that we got to monitor throughout the week. Nebraska went from a 4.5-point dog at Indiana now to a 6.5-point dog already. Totals 51.5 there. Indiana having an awesome season. So this is certainly a reflection here clearly of a lot of interest, I guess we could say, now going the other direction. It's just crazy. Honestly, I'll be honest with you, man. It's really crazy to see Indiana just having like a number next to their name and seeing them ranked when it comes to football and not basketball.
Right, not basketball, football. This
Yeah.
is football.
Yeah.
And Brian Gertz, who does a great job on our show, is, I know, beaming with joy about the Hoosiers being undefeated. 6-0 right now. I made a case on Friday for them being, 9-0 going into Michigan. It's very possible. I mean, they got supported in the market. This number in Vegas opened 4 and got bet right away to 5.5 within 2 minutes. So bad opener, I guess, to open at 4. Market sitting 6.5 at BetMGM. Next 3 games: Nebraska at home, Washington at home, at Michigan State. I mean, they're going to be favored in all those games. Now, you have to do business as a favorite. You have to take care of your 1s and 2s. But this is a team that honestly should be 9-0 going into the big game at home. It's in Bloomington against Michigan. And then after that, you get the bye, and then you go to Ohio State. We will find out just how good this team is. Obviously, it's a good football team, and the coaching has been awesome. Signetti's been amazing, the former James Madison coach.
Yes.
But if they go 9-0 and go Michigan and beat Michigan 10-0, then you hit the bye, then you go to Ohio State, I wonder what that number is going to be. I would love for Indiana undefeated to go into Ohio State.
And just to even keep that thing close, and you're right, Cignetti's done such an incredible job leaving JMU, and obviously what he did with that program to then get to Indiana and see where they turn around here. You know, you almost wonder, like, how long could he stay at Indiana? He could be up for a bigger job if they continue this pace and at least, like, let's say just keep things close against Ohio State and kind of look like a competitive football team the rest of the way. I mean, I know he just got there, but he's going to have his name in a lot of conversations for probably bigger openings in the next, maybe this offseason, next offseason. They're going to have to work to probably keep him there.
Sounds like Nick Ashew is saying Cignetti to the Jets. Is that what I just heard? Did you just call your shot there?
I don't know. Or maybe the Cowboys. The Cowboys are going to need a head coach in a year probably too. So let's be honest here. It would be funny. The NFL teams would probably start coming for him, but it's true. Like everywhere he's gone, he's really started to improve programs and to go from James Madison and get them just in the conversation of like, why aren't they bowl eligible? This rule is stupid, to get into the point now where Indiana is a really respectable football team this year. Guys climbing the ladder very, very quickly. Jets, hey, maybe Cowboys, hey, maybe Eagles when it's all said and done. They might need a new head coach when you're there too. So we'll see. You know, Jim Harbaugh, everywhere he went, it turns things into gold. The teams win. They get better. Whether it's college, whether it's the NFL. Of course, he leaves Michigan. Michigan now we know, like offensively, they're a rough watch. They are at Illinois with a total of 43 and a half in that game. I know it's not Jim Harbaugh's team. But certainly still, it certainly feels like Big Ten football, a lot of defense, a lot of running things when it's all said and done.
Yeah, low total on the open. By the way, we are hearing from Gerch in our chat, who is already pausing the hype machine, saying the IU schedule is very soft. He's right. It's soft, but you can only beat who's in front of you. As for Michigan, Illinois, this total opened 41.5. It is now 43.5. So some early support to the over on the total. We always pay attention to what happens on a Sunday into a Monday. Clearly some support for the over. And Michigan opened the favorite, actually opened 2.5 at one offshore shop. And now we're seeing a pick 'em at multiple shops. MGM has Michigan minus 1.5, but this is coming to Illinois, the favorite. I didn't air this out in grievances. Your boy may have had some Illinois minus 18. Number closed 23. They're up 27-3. 27-3. And win 50-49 against Purdue. Tough.